And that will lead us into public participation regarding the 23-24 budget proposal. And I believe we have one speaker.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have one, Kim Murphy.
All right, and I will read our board policy. The board welcomes and encourages public participation. We respectfully ask that you adhere to the procedures provided in board policy BEDH, public participation at meetings. Your comments should be limited to 3 minutes and must remain either on the topic noted in your sign-in form. I believe it must be, in this case, related to the budget. And any questions will be answered in accordance to board policy BEDH. Ms. Murphy.
Thank you. Good evening. You may not like my tone or the words that I choose to use, but those words have the most accurate meaning. Some of you are new and may not know the history and what really happens when your millage rate is set higher than what is needed to meet your budget. Look at your annual financial report and you can see actually the 10-year history of what's happened. I'm requesting that you use the current 2002 millage rate that, because of the growth in assessed value, will automatically bring in more money than this year, and that any millage rate over that amount will be considered overtaxing. Since 2013, the fund balance, which is essentially the balance in your checking account at the end of the year, after you've paid all your bills, has increased from $33 million to $52 million. The unassigned portion has increased from $19 million to $38 million. It has doubled. That $19 million increase is excess money that taxpayers have paid, and it's $3 million than last year. I mean, over 10 years it's 19. Just last year it was $3 million that did not go towards the budget and the operating expenses that you put forth in your budget and represent at budget public hearings to pay teachers and other related costs. I don't like to use the word you, but if you approve this millage rate, you are you. You say you need this millage rate, but year after year, you continue to overtax your citizens and businesses. And the $19 million fund balance increase that I've stated is actually a net number. That means that you've actually overcollected more than $19 million. Once the amount that you overtax went into fund balance or the rainy day fund, millions have been spent on other costs unrelated to the operating costs. This has got to stop. And student growth doesn't warrant it. We're 23 students less than we were a few years ago. If you collect more than what you represent is to go to teachers and to operate our schools, then use it in the next year's budget to specifically offset those costs. Don't continue to grow it behind taxpayers' backs and spend it on things that are unrelated. Per state accountability, you are allowed to have 8.33% in fund balance, or 2 months of operating costs, not 2 and 3 times that amount. The fund balance policy set by the board can be changed by the board, and it should be. The proposed millage rate is over the top, and it's wrong, and appears to be used as a sales tool in advance of the administration's likely proposed bond referendum next year. You say that you have this millage rate increase, then if you have to have it, and you do collect more, show your commitment to those in the schools and the taxpayers, and specifically earmark it to be used to offset next year's operating costs and paying your teachers. Don't set it aside to use on other projects that are unrelated to what you're representing is needed in the budget.
Your time is up. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, that concludes public participation, and I will adjourn our public hearing.